am speaking with Mike Cronin, who writes about Rockport for the Gloucester Daily Times, and he is the best source we have for helping us understand the issues around the Rockport Volunteer Fire Department. Hi, Mike.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us. Mike, your article in this week's Gloucester Daily Times is concerned with the town's audit of the fire department, and
Mhm.
specifically the fact that former Chief Doyle seems to have kept no records of fire inspections over 20 years, including receipts for fees paid. Am I understanding this right?
Yeah, that's what the town is alleging. The town conducted an audit on October 7th about Doyle's record keeping system. Um,
Hmm.
they, they allegedly found that there was no record keeping system in place or anything sufficient. They found sufficient. Doyle and his lawyer, Liam O'Connell, dispute this. They made mention during the termination hearing, Doyle's termination hearing back in February, that there were three manila folders in the office, in Doyle's former office, with all the financial records that the town would ever need. Apparently, they weren't on their possession during the termination hearing, so they were, I guess, at that time, the town said they'd never really seen these manila folders. I reached out to Liam O'Connell yesterday in preparation for the story. He wasn't able to get back to me in time. I already had handed in the story before he got back to me. Later in the night, he sent me a text message saying that the three manila folders he believes are still at the department. Doyle hasn't touched them because he was issued a no trespass order on all town-owned land, town-owned offices during his administrative leave. So O'Connell's arguing that because of the no trespass order, he was unable to get those folders. Um, so O'Connell believes that they're still there. He doesn't. Doyle hasn't touched them, but he did mention that during the October 7th audit, uh, they the auditors did review the contents of those folders. So it I'm assuming that it's unclear if the auditors felt that that was what they were looking for.
The, the big issue at hand here is, did the October 7th audit, did the people who did that audit see the manila folder?
Mhm.
And why was that not in their report?
I've been trying to get my hands on the report. Um, Still kind of working on it. But according to O'Connell, from what I heard, what he sent me last night, the auditors did see what was in those folders, and I guess judging from the outcome, they weren't satisfied with was inside them.
From your reporting in the past, what I had read was when Chief Doyle submitted fees that he had collected from these inspections, he sometimes handed cash to the
Mhm.
town and maybe checks.
Yep. The problem is, there's no way to kind of verify that because again,
Um,
Doyle had been keeping proper records. The town can't verify, so
right.
they need to do a forensic audit to kind of really just hammer down to know for sure if all the money has been passed into the town and nothing has been stolen by anybody.
So, can you just give us a quick summary of how he ended up being removed?
Yeah. So, like I said, the audit, what was discovered about the records was some kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Doyle has been allegedly involved in a couple of incidents with the town. Back in March 2019, he got involved with a verbal altercation with one of his subordinates. It was outside company time. It was I think it was outside a convenience store or something like that, from what I remember. But there was words exchanged, and the town was notified of it, and Doyle admitted to the whole incident, and following that, a investigation was taken, and um, culminating in a last chance agreement. So that basically said that if the town catches Doyle in another fireable offense, they can just cut him loose right on the spot. Doyle would have no. He gave away his right to challenge the Board of Selectmen's decision if it came to it. And unfortunately it did, after the audit found that he wasn't allegedly keeping the proper records. It seemed to be kind of the last straw, and Doyle was removed during a public hearing in February.
And sadly, he was due to retire, and everyone knew that the following fall, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be receiving his severance packages or anything like that.
Oh, so he loses all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough.
It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Right. No, the whole story is really unfortunate.
Mhm.
So, and Mike, there are a number of lawsuits associated with all of these issues.
Mhm.
You want to just summarize for the town of Rockport, the Rockport citizens, what the most important ones are that we should be paying
Yeah.
attention to?
Well, in addition to this federal court lawsuit, there's also one that's in Essex Superior Court. Again, Liam O'Connell is behind it. He's the one representing the 11 taxpayers. They're alleging that the town is kind of involved in almost like a conspiracy in order to get Doyle out and a full-time fire chief or full-time department in Rockport. In their response to the most recent federal court case, the town alleges that a lot of the claims made in the federal court case are kind of what they say rehash of what's in this Essex Superior Court case. O'Connell denies this, but there are similarities between the two. The two
So
biggest ones.
just to clarify, the federal court case is Doyle's is claiming wrongful termination.
Yes, wrongful termination.
So there's the case of the 11 taxpayers, and that's against the town. And the town, I have heard on record, selectmen saying we absolutely do not want to get rid of the volunteer fire department, right?
Yeah. Yes.
They have made that very clear.
They've been on record multiple times, Board of Selectmen and Mitch Vieira, saying that there is no intention to change or alter the structure of the Rockport Fire Department from a volunteer to a full-time department. However, I guess these people just aren't really taking the town at their word, so they're continuing with this lawsuit. Yes, like I said, that there are similarities between the two lawsuits, the federal and the Essex Superior Court case. Both claim that Mitch Vieira was illegally appointed to Public Safety Commissioner. I know that the Board of Selectmen has the ability, according to the town bylaws, to appoint anybody they want, really, to public safety positions. And Mitch Vieira, the town administrator is under contract with the town. So the contract is negotiated before someone is hired between the hiree, I guess, and the Board of Selectmen. And it was negotiated that he could be appointed the Public Safety Commissioner. So it seems to be all above board. The second thing was that there was the two lawsuits mentioned that there was a conflict of interest involving the last chance agreement involving one of the subordinates. The person that allegedly, I guess, led the investigation to the incident was Deanna Marie Horvath, who was the wife of Police Chief Horvath. After the incident occurred, the town got her on board to kind of, speak with both parties, kind of figure out what exactly happened, and then advise the town on what really went down. And then the town took action from there, which ultimately led to the last chance agreement.
Okay. So let's just summarize your article in today's paper. I just want to get this right. So there was an audit done in October, and in that audit, they are claiming that they did not find a paper trail of these inspection fees. And we're waiting to find out if the town is going to do a forensic audit on to investigate more about what happened to these fees and if it's all legit.
Right? Yeah. Again, there hasn't been any comment from the town. When I spoke with Mitch, he said he couldn't speak on it because,
Mhm.
of the ongoing litigation. Specifically, I mean, involved with these two lawsuits, he can't really um, he's keeping his mouth shut. The whole town is keeping their mouth shut, and
Mm.
in preparation for these upcoming lawsuits.
So, Mike, how does the Rockport Volunteer Fire Department stand right now?
Kurt Keating, who was acting fire chief during Doyle's administrative leave, he was hired by the town a couple months ago as a
Mhm.
full-time chief. And so that's kind of where the department is standing right now. Again, still volunteer. There's no plans to make it full-time according to the town. And also, currently, the emergency service director position is still suspended until an audit that is scheduled to come in the near future by Municipal Resources Inc., a firm that kind of goes into different town departments to kind of make sure everything's running on the up and up. They're going to ultimately determine if that position is worth keeping around.
And that was a position that many people in the volunteer fire department were opposed to
Yeah,
because that had taken a lot of power away from Chief Doyle.
yes,
So that was eliminated until we have this audit that will tell us whether or not it's necessary.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for catching us up on this. It's pretty complicated. So we need every once in a while I need a check-in. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
It's always great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.